My sisters and brothers, the Lord be with you. A reading from the Good News of Jesus Christ according to St. John. Jesus said to his disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you always, the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot accept, because it neither sees nor knows him. But you know him, because he remains with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans. I will come to you. In a little while, the world will no longer see me, but you will see me, because I live and you will live. On that day, you will realize that I am in the Father, and you are in me, and I in you. Whoever has my commandments and observes them is the one who loves me. And whoever loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him." The good news of our salvation.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
And so, my brothers and sisters, God never gives up on us. At one time, 100 years ago, I taught high school boys. And I could write a whole book about my experience of teaching high school boys. I remember once a student wrote in his examination, "Only God can answer all these questions." So I wrote back, "Very good. 100% for God, 0 for you." Right? Another student at the end of a semester, these are sophomore boys, he comes in and they used to write the exams in these blue books. He throws the blue book on my desk and he goes, "Well, Father Tony, I've been in your class the whole semester, and guess what? I didn't find God." I said, "Okay, Brian, have a nice summer." And I said, "Don't worry about it. God will find you someday." The funniest thing was we had a class, this was in the days of movies like The Omen and The Exorcist and all of that. And we had a class that we used to tease among ourselves, saying that they were possessed by devils. Now, I had this class, sophomore boys, possessed by devils, for a course entitled Christian Morality and You, of which they could have cared less, on 7th period on Friday. So those of you who are teachers, you'll get it. Yeah, Monday is a bad teaching day because they're getting over the weekend. Tuesday's bad because they're getting over Monday that they had to come back. Wednesday's pretty good. You can teach some things on Wednesday. Thursday's not good because they're getting ready for Friday. But Friday, 7th period, is like the worst of all. So anyway, I had this class, Friday, 7th period. And during the class, it was interesting, like books would fly and pens would fly and paper airplanes would fly. Things would go out the window and so on. And at the end of the class, I was exhausted. And I would go back to the house and I would go to sleep for 2 hours. I was exhausted by this. And I shouldn't tell you this, and I'd have a good stiff drink of whatever, right? Well, when they graduated, I go, "Thank you, Jesus. We'll never see these kids again." Well, 7 years go by. And this one day I am walking in the seminary and somebody calls my name and comes walking up to me. He goes, "You're Father Tony." Yeah. And he says, "Well, who are you?" He says, "Well, I'm so-and-so." And I said, "That's interesting. I taught somebody by that name in the class possessed by the devils, and he was devil number 1. So he says to me, "Yeah, that's me. I'm the one you taught." And I had an anxiety attack when he said this. So I says to him, "Albert, what are you doing here in the seminary?" I thought it was maybe he was robbing the place or selling drugs or doing whatever. Well, he goes on to say that he had a conversion experience. And that as time went on, he decided that he would like to be a priest. And he says, "I've been looking all over for you," meaning me, get ready for this. He then says, "Because I wanted to tell you that you are the reason I decided to become a priest." And I looked at him and I says, "Albert, this will be our little secret." I said, "Don't ever tell anybody this," right? But anyway, it's interesting. This guy, he was ordained a priest. He is ordained a priest. He's doing great. He really is. And it's amazing to me. And I visit with him at least once or twice a year. And by the way, I shouldn't tell you this. I can't go when he has the mass. I can't go because I see books flying, I see airplanes flying, I see pens flying. So I usually sit in the rectory and read a book or something until he comes back, right? But I visit him for many reasons, but primarily this. Albert is a symbol for me that God never gives up on us. At any time I am tempted to give up on myself or to give up on the people around me, I'm reminded of Albert. And I go, listen, God never gives up on us. God just never gives up on us. And we see that in the readings today. In the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, we see that the apostles are going around healing people, freeing people. Why? This is a symbol that God cares. It's a symbol that God walks with us. It's a symbol that God doesn't give up on us. In the second reading from the letter of Peter, Peter says, look, be willing to pay the price to help other people. Christ paid the price, meaning that God is the one who is willing to pay the price because God is one who never gives up on us. And the key, I think, comes in the gospel text. Jesus says, I'm not going to leave you orphans, guys. I'm there for you. I'm not going to leave you orphans. I'm not going to give up on you. But, he says, if you love me, if you believe this, that in fact I do not give up on you, then please do the same for one another. When he says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And what's his ultimate commandment? His ultimate commandment is love one another, as God has loved us. And it's really what Dorothy Day once wrote, that love in dreams is such a beautiful thing. But in reality, it's a harsh and dreadful thing. Meaning that it's not easy. And I say the same thing about being there for one another. It's not just praying, but it's praying with our feet. And to say it in another way, it's praying with our hearts. Because God is there for us. God doesn't give up on us. And he now invites us to walk in his footsteps and to do the same first for ourselves. Not to give up on ourselves, nor to give up on the people around us. And I leave you with this. This is attributed to Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And Mother Teresa, as you know, is someone who lived radically this commandment to love, and to the least among us who had given up on life, she would go around restoring hope. And this is what she writes, and it's called Anyway. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people sometimes will accuse you of selfish and ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you'll win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness makes you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may resent you for helping them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and sometimes you will be misunderstood. Give the world the best you have anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. And so, brothers and sisters, God doesn't give up on us. God doesn't give up on us. And so now, let us now continue our journey, and let's not give up on one another.